Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, and where do I begin? So you might have noticed that I've not been uploading recently and I've not been streaming. If you follow me on Twitter, which everybody who gives a shit should, and I don't say that to stroke my ego or convey delusions of importance, I say that just because simply you'll already know what I'm about to talk about. So for the last week I have had a miserable time, a really testing, really frustrating, anger-inducing experience with essentially my luck in life, which is to say, if it was a racehorse you'd shoot it, if you were a cancer patient it'd be stage 4 and you'd be dead, which is not the best, right? And I'm hoping that through the sheer balance of whatever you believe in, be it, sugar puffs or fairies in the sky or, good old Thor, everybody's favourite, that I'm due some good luck, I'm due some fortune, I'm due something, a lottery victory, some kind of crazy discovery. I don't know, I feel like I'm due something. Because at the moment, all I get is bad luck. And I'm going to tell you what that bad luck is, because I say it's one of the worst weeks of my life. In the grand scheme of things, it wasn't so bad, I guess. My health is good, my family's good, my friends are fine, everything's going great along that merit, and that's the only stuff that really matters when we get down to it. But on a more personal level, it's fucking sucked. I make videos and put them on the internet. Occasionally I stream and shout at the people who watch me. I play video games. I do various things through the medium of a PC. For the last 7 days I've been unable to do either of those things, and I suppose if you live in a small Eritrean village where water is your main concern and you can't get that, and if you do it's filled with like cows pissing in it and parasites, then my problems sound fucking garbage. But as we know, it's relative to your situation. So for me, it's been a miserable affair. And I'll tell you how it started. So I took some time off at Christmas, and I did this because I wanted to spend some more time with my family. Christmas is always a nice time, I feel. Everybody seems to be a little bit more pleasant, even though it's kind of a faux pleasantry. We should be nice because it's Christmas, when personally I believe we should be nice all the time. Even though there's some people in my stream chat that disagree with that, but they can fuck off. And I did it and I enjoyed it. It was cool. I didn't make too many videos. I spread out my uploads that I'd already made. I didn't stream too much, and I just kind of enjoyed, doing something else for a little while. Didn't mean I didn't play games. Didn't mean I didn't think about YouTube. Didn't mean I didn't want to make stuff. There's a drive inside you when you do this that forces you to do this. It's not natural sitting here talking to a microphone, staring at Audacity as the wavelength fluctuates to every single nuance of my voice. This is not a natural thing to do. It's a very artificial thing to do, but it's something that I've done for a long time, and it's something I get profound enjoyment from. And I've shared it with the internet, and I've found an audience of people who resonate with what it is that I do. It's good, and you feel that, you do. I wanted to do stuff, but I also wanted to commit on, just being off to the side a little while. Think about things. I've been doing this a fair few months now. Many moons have passed since I started. It's a different climate for everything. It's a different culture of what it is that I do. And I was enjoying that time. And then I came back and I did a stream, which was the last stream I actually did. I did a short stream. Just to be like, how's everybody going? How was your Christmas? How was your New Year and things? Well, we might have even been leading up to New Year's. I think it was the 27th of December. It's been a long time. So in that period, because I'd not been touching anything, I didn't know that anything was wrong. Didn't see, any of the early warning signs. And then I went to do an upload that night, and it was a Call of Duty video. It was one of the Operation War videos I made. I made 2 of them. One on Griffin, one on Neptune, and I think they got like 600 views in 4 days, which means that no fucker likes them, but I enjoyed making them, and I hope you enjoyed watching them if you did. But I couldn't get the thumbnail to load. And it was just that weird thing of like, the fuck is going on here? This is weird. I come back, I'm roaring to do some stuff. I've been a little bit disenfranchised from what I was doing, and I needed a bit of time to like reiterate and reevaluate, and then I've come back hungry to do some stuff, and I can't even load a thumbnail. It was really strange. And I don't know if you've ever used the installer, or the uploader, sorry, on YouTube, but once your details are all there, there's just a click box. You click a box, it opens, it boots your C drive, and then from there you pick what you want. and the file wasn't too big, it wasn't a format it didn't recognize. It's just every time I clicked on the fucking image, it froze. It went not responding. I'm like, what the hell is this about? So, because I wanted to do a bunch of editing and I'd got a bunch of gameplay, I just kind of fucked it off. I thought, oh, it's nothing, I'll do it another time. You know, it was quite late, and I don't want to be up later than I normally am, because I'm normally up until like 6 in the morning every day anyway. So, I didn't notice anything was wrong continually with this process until a little bit later in the week. So, I was editing a bunch of Call of Duty footage, because I recorded a dozen matches. Some of them were good, some of them weren't good, but the ones that weren't good might have had something in them that I could use, and I wanted to do something a bit more edited and, you know, creative and add some fun stuff with. I made a video recently where I stuck on like Dolly Parton music and a bunch of Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes, and I love doing stuff like that because it's more intensive than standard editing, and it enables you to have some fun with it, and it's a bit creative and a bit silly, and it just kind of it does rejuvenate you, it reinvigorates you. So I enjoyed doing that. I wanted to do something different, and I've been wanting to do more edited stuff on YouTube, but YouTube is a platform at this moment in time where the more effort you put in, the less it pays off, which is really frustrating. So I've kind of had to hold that back a little bit, and I'm one of those people that when I'm wanting to do something, I have an immense amount of drive for it, you know, borderline autistic, whatever you want to call it, but I want to know it, I want to learn it, I want to be the best at it, I want to do it all. And I burn hot and cold like that. If I get out of something, I'm not bothered, and I'll not touch it for ages. But when I'm in that moment, it's an inspiring and a driven place, and that's where I was in that moment. And then I noticed that when I went to make a thumbnail for the second of the war videos, Adobe Photoshop was being really shitty, really slow. Like, what the fuck is going on? And I didn't think this was anything different or new, because traditionally I lost all my softwares because something happened on my computer and I had to get them again. And I got newer versions of them and I hate all of them. I was using a version from like 2011 or 2010, which is the master collection that I got from university. And all those softwares are ingrained in my hand and my brain and my muscle memory and everything, and they're perfect. They do exactly what I need them to do. I don't need anything more. They work. This new stuff doesn't. This new stuff is changed, they've messed with it, and it's nowhere near as iterative or as useful, and it does all these fancy fucking things, but it doesn't do the standard things as well as the old one did. So I get really frustrated at the idea of that. So I've just always looked at this Photoshop as, this is a piece of shit software, it fucking sucks, I hate Adobe, I hope they all die, you know? Merry Christmas. So I didn't see anything wrong with it being slow, because it's always fucking slow. My old Photoshop moved like lightning, this new one doesn't, and I don't know why it is, I just kind of assumed I got a bum rap, I don't know. So I do the normal things that everybody does. I check my CPU usage. You know, I check my to see what my physical memory's doing. I see if there's anything on my computer that's doing anything silly. I run my antiviruses. I run Malwarebytes. I run Avast. You know, nothing comes up, nothing comes back. Okie dokie. Maybe it's just one of those things. I turn my PC off, I open it up, I clean the vents, the heatsink on top of the CPU, I spray it with some compressed air, you know, I get it all out of there to make it feel better about itself and feel all rejuvenated, and then boom, turn it back on, and it's still happening. So, at this moment in time, I can't make a thumbnail for YouTube, because it keeps crashing this fucking thing. I can't design a thumbnail for YouTube, so I have these videos that I want to give to people, but I can't do it, and it's been a couple days since I've put a video up, so I'm kind of pissed off. And I can't put videos up without thumbnails because I'm at that point now where that's just not what you do, dog. So I didn't share these videos for ages, and I finally managed to get it to happen for whatever reason. You know, the vixen in the sky shined down a nice rainbow of joyfulness, and boom, it worked. And I got those videos out. And then that's when everything started going fucking squirrely. So I couldn't load folders that used to load properly. And I couldn't tell why. And at first I thought maybe it's because the folder's really big. And the first one in question was the image folder for all my thumbnails. So all of my assets that create thumbnails in Photoshop, my PSDs, my raw files and stuff that you chuck in to mess with and whatever. And then all the finished thumbnails that I've put on YouTube since I've been able to do it since like 2012, 2013, all go in this folder. There's 3,000 items in this folder. It's about a gig. There's no fucking reason why my computer should be suffering with this. On the surface, you think, oh, maybe it's a bit big. It's not big. You know, when I recorded The Evil Within 2 on PC, 1080p 60, when I finished that walkthrough, the raw footage was over 600 gig, and they loaded instantly. There should be no problem here. It didn't make sense. What the fuck is my machine doing? Are you kidding me? What the fuck is that? I have my settings set so that it never does screensaver and it never shuts down and it just fucking screensavered me. See what I mean? This is literally what my life is right now. Nothing works and I don't know why. Let me see if I can change that. This is fucking annoying, dude. Anyway, intermission over, hopefully. I expect nothing less at this moment, I really do. So Evil Within was massive. There's no reason for these folders not to load at all. So that immediately starts stepping out to me then. And then in my videos folder, which is where all my capture software's output goes to, I was having problems loading videos. So videos in VLC Player always seem to be hit and miss sometimes. There are times when, like, you skip forward and it just takes forever for it to do it and to play. And I've always had that problem with VLC Media. Some days it's fantastic, other days it's not. I've tried updating it, I've tried uninstalling it, reinstalling it. I've tried Googling, you know, what's the best free fucking play every single thing in the world player? And I've tried some of the alternatives, and they all kind of do it. So the only thing I can think of there is maybe it's something to do with the fact I only have 8 GB of RAM on this machine. Do I need maybe more than that when I'm doing, you know, these ultra high definition folders and I'm jumping between 10 GB files? I don't rightly know. I'm already thinking about upgrading my RAM because I'm upgrading my motherboard, my CPU, my RAM, and pretty much everything. But that's a story for another day. So, like, the videos wouldn't play, and that made it difficult for me to edit. And at this moment in time, what I've been doing is I've been using outlets as a band-aid for frustration. I couldn't upload to YouTube, so I'd been editing. I'd been capturing. And then when I couldn't capture, I was editing. And then now the editing's gone. So at this moment in time, everything has systematically been taken from me, and I know something is wrong. I then proceed to start looking into what this could be, because at that moment, that's when things started really escalating and it started getting fucked up. So Windows Explorer kept not responding. Every folder I opened kept taking forever to load. You know how when you open a folder on Windows 7 and the green bar at the top, you might not have noticed it because normally most things open so quickly you don't see it load. But if it's a slightly larger file, then you might see a little bit of that. Now imagine if every single bar for every single folder you try to open is moving at the speed of an image on dial-up. So you might be too young to remember dial-up, but let me tell you, you could wait about 5 minutes for a single fucking TIFF or JPEG, and they weren't high definition, they were garbage definition. Like, that shit took forever. What was it, 56 KB? They were bad. They were really bad. And that's what every folder on my PC is like. So I Google it. I immediately start Googling like a madman, because as you know, folks, I'm not that PC savvy. I can understand certain things. I've got a capacity to learn. Google is my friend for the most, and Stream Chat normally. So I'm looking into what this could be, and I go through so many checks, and I learned quite a lot about things I've never done before by virtue of doing this. So if we were to take a silver lining from all of this dog shit, there is that. I found out how to check RAM. I checked my VRAM to see if there was anything wrong with that, and I ran that specific service. I can't quite remember what the code it was that I put into the search bar to do it, and then it did it, and it's scanning the disk and everything, DHKSSK or something, and I did that. That seemed okay. Scanned that 2 to 3 times. Went into all kinds of things. SFC scan now, did that. Went into registry files using certain softwares to look see if there's any broken registries and this and that. Went into msconfig, went into system startup, and I'm doing all these processes that I don't really know much about, but I'm kind of just stumbling through them with the one thought in the back of my head, and that thought is, what if it's a virus? So at this point, I've checked my viruses multiple times, I've updated them, checked them again, but you can never tell if something's got to them and it's making it harder for them to find. Because in my mind at this point, the thing that I'm thinking is maybe my motherboard's going, but the thing to check with that, of course, is you have to check every single component before you can rule out that it's the motherboard. And the thing above that I'm thinking is it's probably the hard drive, because everybody's talking about it when I'm searching. They're talking about this, this, and this, but this hard drive thing's coming back all the time. So I'm hoping instead of a failing hard drive, which I'll have to pay a lot of money to replace, even though they're not that expensive as it happens, if it's a virus, we can get rid of that and it might be magically working. Maybe it's just a virus. Maybe I might get lucky in this endeavor. So I'm doing all this stuff. I'm messing with all these services and these systems and running these things and running all these kind of checks and messing about with all this stuff that I've never seen before. And it's all coming back as kind of hit and miss. You know, I'm checking sections of the hard drive, doing disk scans and doing this and going into the BIOS and checking stuff via that and all kinds of, you know, wizardry. But there's this lingering doubt in my mind that what if it's this virus that we can get rid of? So I get a bunch of different services I've never used before. I get them on a different PC. I use my dad's PC, and I get a piece of software called Arkill, which I've never heard of before, but all these forums were talking about it, and it's this software that you run, and it blasts your machine, and it just fucks off everything. It just kills everything that could be there, hopefully. And then I found another one that was similar to that, which does it with your registry and your files and looks at all that kind of stuff. Because at this point, I was stupid, and I should have done a system restore to see if I could, you know, just fix it that way, to see if it would have helped. It wouldn't have, as it happens, but that's what I feel like I should have done. But before I did that, I already CC cleaned and defragged and did a million other things, and it fucks up your system restore points, I think. So I wasn't aware of that, but I learned that as well. So system restore was absolutely no help at that point. But using these two services, I blasted my machine with everything I could do at this point, and it was coming back as fine. But the thing that I've not told you here is each of these processes that I did, each of these, you know, Google this, find this, get to this, do this, try this, restart, try again, something new. Say I did 20 things to try and make sure it wasn't anything specific other than it looks like it's the hard drive. Well, because the drive was compromised at this point, and because Windows Explorer was crashing repeatedly and everything was taking forever to do, just isolating each of these processes that I'd found to try and remedy things, it took 6 days. And you might be thinking, well, that's not too long, Chris, you know. Have you seen Count of Monte Cristo? Have you read that one? Well, no. I haven't read it. Great movie, though. But can you imagine that? The only thing I could do on my computer that didn't crash it or seemingly make it move so slow it would take 5 to 10 minutes to respond again was internet. Because I'm assuming it doesn't draw from your machine at all, does it? It draws from the cloud. All you do is host it in a browser, and then everything else is pulled externally. So in the meantime, I'm watching streams, I'm watching YouTube, and I'm waiting for all this shit to load. And then it got to the point where I couldn't even do that because that was taking so long. So imagine the dial-up speed of all your systems incrementally getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And everything you try to do to remedy any of it, or see if it's a problem, or see what's going on, the computer wants to restart to make sure the changes have saved. And the restarts take an hour to get back to where you were. And that was my fucking life for all 5 of those days. And you might be thinking, well, Chris, why didn't you read your book, or why didn't you, do something else, play on your games, go watch TV, do something else while all this was happening? I couldn't. It was the weirdest thing. Like, I felt I was on the precipice of solving it and sorting it out and getting back to what I wanted to do, getting back to my fucking life. But every step just got worse and worse and worse. So I was in this stubborn mindset of if I do something else, it doesn't get fixed. I need to stick at this and get it done and figure it out and understand what's gone wrong. But it was just taking so fucking long. So goddamn long. So once all that was done, I've lost so much time at this point. I've cut my hands because I'm angry at everything and I'm punching everything. I'm in a terrible mood. I've been pissed off for days. Like, you don't want to be near me at that point because I'm this close to headbutting my monitor until it breaks or I get brain damage, because there's just pure unadulterated rage, the likes you've never fucking seen, through every vein. Like, I don't know how I didn't punch my new keyboard, and I'm very glad I didn't, but the amount of times I stared at it and I just wanted to fucking E-Honda chop it and punch my tower and punch anything around me. Like, I wanted to kick my TV. All of these pointless, stupid, impulsive, violent impulses were just flowing through me like poison. It was horrible. And I'm just sitting there, just trying to get it back, just don't do it. hit my wall a few times at the side of me. The wall's straight up brick. You're not hurting that, you know. You're doing good there. Do it until I can't do it anymore and get really mad. Like, working out like a motherfucker. Doing all my stretches and shit. Just mad the entire time. And there was a bit of an epiphany moment. There came to a watershed of, this has to be the hard drive. I'm going to go in on this. So I think it was Saturday or Friday, one of the two. And it's important because buying a hard drive on those days makes the delivery even longer. So I'm thinking, the best thing to do at this point, I don't have any other machine to test things with other than one downstairs, and unfortunately my dad's machine is really, really good, but it's Windows 8 or Windows 10, and I don't know what to do with that, and it's done the screensaver thing again, so something's seriously wrong with this. I've got my power settings changed, I've got everything set to never do that, never turn off, never go idle, and yet it's going idle every 10 minutes. I need to figure out what that is. That might be something in the BIOS, I don't know. We'll get to that, you'll enjoy that. But isolated that it's the hard drive, sorry. It's fucking this is what sucks, right, when that shit happens. It's ruining my train of thought, and I've already ranted for 20 fucking minutes, and it's going to be long, this video, guys. I apologise, but at the same time, I'm filling you in. And I can't remember what I was saying now, because it's fucking interrupted me. That's the problem with this. You get into a flow state, and it ruins it. And I would normally pause and, like, rewind and listen and shit, but there's just no need. Anyhow, getting a new hard drive. I'm going to go all in, I'm going to buy a new hard drive, and I'm going to test it that way because my dad's PC is not so good. Even though it's really, really powerful. It's got an operating system that I just can't find anything on because I have to Google to find simple things because it's so fucking different to the one I use because I'm an old dinosaur man. 55 quid, Seagate, 2 terabytes, Barracuda. It's actually the hard drive that was in my machine that failed. Is the one I was looking at. £55 on, was it Amazon, something like that? So I'm going to buy it, I'm going to test it. If it's not the hard drive, I've got an extra 2 terabytes, everybody's laughing, right? It's a good thing. But it's going to take a few more days because Amazon Prime can't work over the weekend for whatever reason. I think Sunday's quite tough for Amazon. It was quite close to Christmas, I guess, or just after Christmas or whatever, so maybe there was a bit of that. But suffice it to say, the delivery wasn't going to be what I wanted it to be. And then we have our first good news in a slew of Holocaust days. My dad has a random Seagate 2 terabyte Barracuda hard drive just sitting about because he purchased it when his computer had a problem and then it turned out it was a different kind of problem. So I now have a hard drive that I can fuck with. So, you know, Jim will fix it, that I am, trying to learn the insides of a computer. I've never removed a hard drive or even looked at a hard drive or even know anything about a hard drive. But I've done the power supply and I've done a graphics card and I've done a few other things. So I'm getting a bit more confident and I want to learn this shit. So I do a quick safety Google just to make sure that it's not too complicated. And everyone's like, oh, it's a piece of piss. So I get my screwdrivers, open the tower up, start looking at the cables. And of course, your hard drive is connected by a white L-shaped thing. You know what I mean? And then the SATA cable, the SATA cable, I don't know how you say that. These two things clip into the back of the hard drive and boom, you're gone. And you've got tons of these cables because they're all connected to that big weird tree of life inside your computer. And at this moment you might be thinking, Chris, well, why didn't you do like repair stuff with CDs and stuff, Windows Repair and all that kind of stuff? My disk tray on my PC has been malfunctioning for a while. It sticks, it doesn't work, sometimes it doesn't read, sometimes it doesn't come out. I don't really use disks at all, so it's never been something I've looked to replace, but it's been hit and miss. And I tried to do that, and it wasn't doing it. And it came out a little bit, and I got a little bit mad, because I don't know if you know this, but I spent 5 days being shit on by technology. So in my rage, impulsively, and I don't recommend this, and I'm not proud of this, I ripped it out of the front of my tower. I ripped the disk tray out. I didn't obviously rip the internal out because it's screwed in, but I ripped the tray out and I cut my hand. Fucking stupid. So disk solutions, no bueno. But they were no bueno before my little hissy fit of childish stupidity. So it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. And I couldn't do anything disrelated, which is going to make our story even better later on. You're going to love this. So I unmount my old hard drive, and I'm looking at these cables, and I notice that my shitty disk drive is using the exact same power and connector that the hard drive is doing. So I have a bit of an epiphany, which you probably already got there because you're all really good with PCs, and I'm not. Up until this point, my ambition with this, where I was going once I got the hard drive in to definitely make sure it was the hard drive that was the problem, is I was going to clone the hard drive. That was my thought. I was either going to clone the hard drive, or I was going to get a USB to SATA cable to transfer things that way. I had not got that far. I didn't know what that looked like. To me, that could have been the land beyond the master race, the Cloud City, Lando Calrissian. You don't even know. I didn't even know. But when I noticed that those cables were the same, I thought, why not plug the new hard drive in and boot off that hard drive and then look at the other hard drive on the functioning one, because then Windows Explorer will move properly, right? That's just simple science. I'm not a scientist, but it makes sense to me. So I boot it, and it's got remnants from my dad's PC on it, so it boots in Windows 10, and I immediately stop it because I'm like, fuck that garbage, I don't know what that is. That's just going to make it 10 times harder to do anything for me because I don't understand the operating system. So I do a format on this disk, and then I start Googling, how do I put an operating system on this? So traditionally, you'll have your Windows 7 disk, or Windows whatever you've got disk, with your code that came with your PC and everything, and you just pop it in and it does everything for you. Well, we don't have a disk drive because of, you know, unfortunate events. So I can't do that. So I start Googling around that issue, and of course there's an option to boot from USB. I've never done this before, and everything goes wrong for me, guys, so you can see where this is going. So at this point, I'm downstairs with a bit of hope, because I'm pretty sure it's the hard drive, but I haven't quite checked it yet. And I've got a solution in sight to get to the checking part, but it involves getting an operating system on this USB. So I'm on my dad's PC, using my mum's laptop that she's just got for Christmas, using all these other fucking things. And my mum's laptop has got no memory on it, so it's slow as piss. It's got like the weakest CPU as well, which doesn't make any sense to me. So it's not as fast as I would like. And then my dad's computer has got an operating system I don't recognise, and once again, it's so full of fucking garbage that it doesn't run very fast at all. So I'm frustrated as it is. And I'm using these fucking things, getting even more frustrated. And I'm reading forums, I'm reading help pages, I'm reading all this stuff. Everyone's got a different opinion. There's a million different things. I'm not watching Linus's tech tips because I don't need you to sell me garbage. I don't need Linus. What's with the earrings, dude? And then I find this thing. You get the operating system, boom, and there's all these official tools from Windows to help you to do this. And it sounds fantastic. So I check which one I've got. I've got Windows 7 Home Premium. I end up getting Windows 7 Ultimate. Because I clicked the wrong thing, because I'm stupid. And then I realised, and I went back and I got the premium one, and then I ran into the first of the problems. So this is official software, but it can still have these weird issues. So at first I didn't have a USB big enough to put this on, because all my USBs were old, from back when I was in college when they didn't have much memory on them. And I noticed that my dad had one, so I ended up backing up all of his stuff, because I was almost certain it was going to format it to pop this in. And it's all backed up on his computer, and it did format it, and I popped it on, and you need to get a piece of software that converts the raw ISO file of the boot of the Windows operating system, Windows 7, to convert it into this USB-specific file so that it will recognize and auto-run off the USB. And you put the ISO into the converter, and it says, can't recognize fucking ISO. Or some garbage like that. So you sat there like, what the fuck is this? Is this my luck? Is this what it is now from now till I die? Just bad luck all the time. So I googled this problem, and it turns out that you can get this piece of software that lets you go into the ISO, tick a few boxes, convert it, slap it in, and it'll work. So I download this thing called Power ISO. I probably get a million pieces of adware with it and all this other garbage. It installs all these toolbars that I need, all this helpful fucking Google Chrome garbage. And I get this thing, and I chuck it into it, and I start messing and what have you, and it doesn't work. It says unrecognized ISO. And it's just like, what the fuck? I get the thing to do the thing, to get the thing, to do the thing, and then the thing doesn't work? What the hell do I do now? How do I get this shit to boot? Why is this so garbage? Why is this so difficult? So I go on the torrents, because the fucking official pathways are so garbage and broken that nobody should use them. Fuck you, Microsoft. And I notice a Windows 7 one, so I click on this torrent, and on the comments in the torrent, there's a guy saying that it does everything. It does every single version of Windows 7. Thanks a bush, you saved me $100. So I'm like, okay, I'll grab this one. Maybe this one will work. So grab it, download it. I'm on my parents' internet, which was the internet I started YouTube on, which is a Sky internet, which is 3 megabytes down and 0.4 up. So this 1 gigabyte or 3 gigabyte Windows 7 download was going to take 4 fucking hours. And I'm sitting there just be like, are you kidding me? Everything right now is taking forever. My entire life is on dial-up, and this is the bullshit you're going to drop on me? So I get my my WAP key and everything, and I put my internet on it, and we do it in 2 minutes. So, boom! It goes on, right? And I notice whoever's made this torrent is a fucking genius, and it just goes to show how creative and helpful the pirates are. They're way better than the people who were officially in control, as my fucking monitor goes dead again. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, PC. They had that file that converts it automatically, so it boots off a drive, built into the torrent folder. So I dropped it into that option, and it worked. So the official one, where I went through Microsoft and everything and downloaded via that, had to go through all this Power ISO and all this third-party software to make it work, and then didn't work. But the criminal one, the nasty Somalian in the rivers offshore of, Shark City, it works instantly, and it's all set up for me, and I don't have to go anywhere, I don't have to swim in the deep waters and nothing. Perfectly works. So I come upstairs with a spring in my fucking step. Finally, 6 or 7 days this is now. I want to kill myself every fucking moment of every day. It's just a frustration fest. Boom. Put it into my machine. Boot the machine. It starts working. I'm excited. Then it asks for an authentication code. I'm like, okie dokie, what's my code? Look on the side of my tower, I've got this big number on this sticker that's all effaced and worn away. Pop it in. Invalid code! Like, oh, what the fuck? Why? What is my life today? And of course, I have Home Premium. This was ultimate. So it's like, are you really gonna piss on me with these pedantry bollocks? Do you know the week I've had? Do you know those kids going for water 2 hours a day when they should fucking move instead? I've got it worse than them right now, dude. Where's my advert? I'm having a horrible time. So I'm thinking, I've got to get Home Premium onto this disc somehow without it fucking up, and there's no torrent for it, so I'm stressing out. And then I think, why don't I just Google authentication code? There's probably bound to be a bunch of those, randomly generated authentication code. So I look into that, and unfortunately it didn't work. Popped one in, didn't work. You never know. And then I ended up fucking about for another day, and I got a version that did work. So boom, we're installing. Windows 7's coming on the machine. I'm happy, I'm stoked. This is going to be the thing. Fresh install. Boom, it's working. It's fast, it's smooth, it's slick. It's got to be the hard drive, right? This hard drive's fine. The operating system looks beautiful. It booted instantly. None of those 50-minute boots, even though that's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm seeing the light at the end of this tunnel full of dicks in my mouth. There is light, and it's a good light. However, I then hit the next stumbling part in my fantastic time away. So, on this fresh boot, I don't know if it was any different than it would be with a disk. It booted Windows with no drivers. Not a single driver at all. And me being, of course, the PC specialist that I am, I don't understand what that means. So I'm trying to get on the internet, and it's been like, yo, dog, there's no internet here, dickhead. Go away, no room at the inn, Mary. So I'm Googling, and it's telling me that I need these network drivers. And I'm like, oh, wait, which one do I need? How do I find this shit? And I'm searching for these drivers on a different computer, on a slow-ass internet connection. And it's a minefield. You go to these websites that, if I can spot a dodgy website, and I can't because I'm a moron, I just use, I just use Arkill to burn and scald and scorch the earth behind me after I've, finished looking for eclectic bestiality pornography and everything. So I'm looking at these websites being like, this looks dodgy as fuck. Half this shit didn't even load correctly, and then you can practically see the ninjas waiting to murder you on them. So I didn't want to click on any of those, because, you do realize that if you run this executable, you might die. Like, yeah, no shit, dickhead. Everything's dying today, and my luck at this moment in time, I'll fix this problem, and I'll die of AIDS, or I'll get struck by lightning or something, or I'll get arrested for perjury and fraud and all this. Did you steal Windows 7 and torrent it today? No? Well, fuck you, you did. Something like that, I'm having a horrible time. But I'm going through all these, and one of the forums mentioned that if you go into Device Manager, you can go into the ID of the hardware and you can copy and paste and show that, right? And if you look for that, you'll fix your problem, because it'll show you what the manufacturer were for the driver. So this then proceeds a very slow process of checking all these manufacturer IDs to get these drivers. And on these forums, you know, the thing that really fucks me off nowadays with everything, it probably was always this way, but I've never come across it because I'm quite ignorant of certain things. There's all these quick fucking fixes, have you noticed? Oh, if you download this piece of software called Driver Easy, or Driver Install, or Driver Up the Arse, or fucking Driving Miss Daisy, it'll fix it immediately and scan your hard drive and do 1,000,009 things, and it's totally free until that part where it asks you to pay. What is that garbage about? Every fucking thing. This'll fix your drivers. Some bullshit free trial for something that scans your shit and then tells you to buy it. Everything is that now. Every single thing is that, and I don't know why. And if you make one of those, I hope you die. I hope your family dies. I hope your gene pool is just fucking wiped from the earth. I really do. The planet will get smarter without you. Like, fuck those people, dude. It's so parasitic and garbage. There's no symbiosis to that. It's just exploitative. There's a dumb bastard like me trying to fix this fucking PC issue, and I'm already struggling with calculators and microwaves, and this shit's dropping on me, and I'm getting all this weird software that's not working, and it's just garbage. So frustrating. But I get the drivers. It's a long and arduous process, and I probably don't have all of them, and I'm still in the state of installing and getting them and things, and it's going to take a while because that's just my life right now. But we're there, guys. We've got the internet. We can do things. And boom. Everything's running fast. It has to be the hard drive. So I take those two connections from my disk drive and I plug in the hard drive I've removed, and then I start again. So in my computer, there's the fresh new hard drive, 2 terabytes sitting there, nothing on it, and to the side of it, we have my hard drive. I'm like, this could be good. This is what we wanted. We're here. This has only took like 20 days. It's like fucking Noah's Ark. And thus begins the exciting cloning the hard drive saga. So there's 2 pieces of software that I looked into. The first one is called like Mercurium something else. And there was another one that was, I believe it began with A. This is how much attention I was paying. I was too busy full of joy and hope. And you get this software. It was awkward to get, but I got it, even though it's meant to be free. Because I got this software back when everything was being slow and a pain in the dick. And I start running it to clone my hard drive directly over to this fresh hard drive. This is out of sequence a little bit, guys. This is before I put the operating software on it. Before I did that next section. I'd connected the hard drive when it was empty to the machine via the SATA cable and everything. And trying to clone it. So the first one, I put it through and it got to 5% and it failed. It recommended that I did a disk check. So I ran the disk check. The system is incredibly slow. The disk check took forever. The boot afterwards took forever. Like, to give you an idea of how slow the boot was on the computer, you know at the beginning when it's a starting Windows and then you get those orbs that swoop in and make that old school Windows sign on Windows 7? Like, it said starting Windows for about 15 minutes before you even saw a light. And then when you got to the point where you could log in, after you'd logged in, it was black for about 20 minutes, and then it'd load your background, and then it'd take forever, and then like 4 or 5 of these weird computer screens would be on the bottom taskbar, and they'd all have green ticks on them saying that the fucking desktop failed to load and shit. And then your images would come up and they'd take forever, and you couldn't click on anything because you'd kill Windows Explorer immediately, and you'd have to wait even longer, so you sat there waiting for it to turn on. And at this point, I'm trying to clone things. So, disk check had been done. I try running it again. It doesn't work. I get rid of that software. I get that other software beginning with an A. I tried CloneZilla, but I couldn't get that one, so I got this other one. I try that. It gets to about 70%, and then it fails again because of bad sectors. So the dream of just taking hard drive A and dumping it on hard drive B and having everything done for me and everything made easy is gone. It's just obliterated in an instant, and that's when I knew I was going to have to start again on that hard drive, put an operating software on it, and then check the other drive. And that's when I tweeted, you know, like, fuck my life, nothing can be easy, because that's pretty much how I felt at that moment, and I still kind of do, because it's really, really fucking miserable. But now we have both hard drives side by side, an empty new one and my old one there. And after all the horror stories, when I clicked into the to the old hard drive, everything was there. All of it was there. So I then, from that point onwards, copied all the important stuff from that one to the other hard drive. And at this time, I was watching Twitch and YouTube and stuff, because even though it was transferring to I was using Windows Explorer on the new hard drive with the new operating system, and it's lightning fast, the conversion is slow as fuck because, of course, the hard drive is compromised. And the first thing I did, because I'm a stupid bastard and that's how I roll, I grabbed the hard drive and I just chucked the hard drive across to the other one, straight up, bing, bang, boom, take everything, all the bad stuff in there, there you go. And the bar was green for about 5 minutes. It said it was going to take 9 years to transfer or some stupid shit. And then the bar went red. And I've never seen that bar go red before, so I had to Google what the bar means. So if your bar goes red, it's telling you that there's something wrong, there's some kind of corruption with the file transfer, and it stops, it doesn't continue. I know this because I waited an hour to see if it would work. And at this point, I'd waited 2 hours for Arkill to run. It was running so fucking slow back on the old hard drive. And I'd waited days, for shit to be tested and see if it worked. So waiting was something at that point I was almost a black belt in. So it didn't seem like something too bad, but it turns out it never continues, so you have to cancel. So at that point, I dragged everything that was important. I got all my videos, I got my downloads, I got my desktop, I got all that stuff. I got my new intro. I got save files for games, documents, all that kind of stuff. Kind of the most important things. Chucked them all across, and then they were there. And then when I accessed them on the new hard drive, everything is fine, everything's swimming, everything's gravy. Then there's the process of rebuilding. So this is not interesting, so I'm not going to dwell on this at all. From this point onwards, I have to get all my softwares back, I have to get everything back, I have to get a lot of drivers back, and I think the reason why I'm having issue with, the screen dipping to black and my computer turning off, even though, when you go into both my settings in personalization and what have you, all of those are set to never happen and never do that, yet they're still doing it for some reason. I think all of this is a consequence of these drivers and what have you, and it gets better, guys. So at this moment in time, I have Audacity, OBS, Adobe Premiere, Adobe Encoder, and obviously my internet, Mozilla, VLC, stuff like that. I've got kind of all that back, and it's accessible. Everything else I need to keep getting. The problem I'm facing, though, is for the last 3 days, there's been a new problem. And you're probably thinking, how the fuck does this even work? And I'm thinking the same, because they do say, though, when things break, they break in threes. I don't know who says that, and I don't know where it comes from, but my grandma told me on Sunday when I mentioned how shit my week was. So I'm hooking everything back up. At this moment in time, all I want to do is play a game, because I've not played a game in about 5 days, and it's not that I'm craving to play it, even though it would be nice. I was kind of craving Battlefront, but that's a different issue. It was just this idea of, I need something to make me feel good, because I've been feeling like shit for so long now. It's almost as if this is what life has always been, and there is no good feelings. So I hook up my Xbox, and there's no picture. And I'm kind of sat there being like, has my TV finally gone? My old bastard 10-year-old Sony Bravia, the legend itself, has died? This is Jesus Christ pulling himself off the cross and throwing the nails at the fucking Romans, is how good this television is. Still kicking. Is it finally gone? I don't know. So I proceed to use 9 different USB cables, not USB, sorry, HDMI cables, and all kinds of good tricks that I know, blowing in the ends that does actually nothing and all that good stuff, swapping them around, that's the ultimate trick for HDMI trickery. And I can't get a fucking picture. No picture at all, no bueno, no kinder bueno, gone. Out of signal, out of range, this and that. It's like, what the fuck? I know it's on 720p. There's no reason it should be saying this, so I don't know why it's saying it. So I'm looking on the internet for all these things for, black screen, Xbox One, and all this fantastic, glorious garbage. Nothing. Just a bunch of people, if you put this cable in this one, you should do it. And I don't mean to insult all these people, but I just did. I've been fucking with cables and Xboxes for over 10 years. Like, that's a lie. When you think about it, I've probably been fucking with cables when it comes to computers for like 25 years. I know how to plug cables in to get a picture on a television. I was doing it with SCART leads before fucking HDMI even existed. This is the one area where it's hard to fuck this up, unless there's some kind of hardware fault, right? But alas, it ain't working. So I try all these cables, I get nothing. I'm wondering if it's maybe the HDMI port going on the back of the Xbox One. Let's face it, the Xbox One's a bag of shit. It's the worst console I've ever used. I don't know why I own it. I hate it. I truly do. I blame my friends. But it's been making some funny noise recently, like the disc tray, when no disc is in, it makes like growly noises at me. And I don't know if that's because it's angry that I always slander it on YouTube, but fuck it, it's garbage. I kicked it yesterday and I felt good. Like, maybe that's why it doesn't work. But suffice to say, nothing was working with it at all. Couldn't get any picture, couldn't do any. You might have seen me if you're on my friends list. I was on not doing alt for ages the last few days. That's all been me trying to like work this shit out. So I'm thinking, it could be the TV or it could be the Xbox. It can't be the cables because I've got tons of them and they all work. So let's try the 360. Pung, 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 turn it on, boom, picture immediately. It's the Xbox One. Like, motherfucker. So I do some Googling. To replace an Xbox One, it's 200 quid. That can suck a fucking dick. I'd rather suck a dick than pay 200 quid for that shit console. Don't want that at all. So I'm not replacing it. There's no two words in it. Let's just, you know, give it some time, give it some space, and try again. Hook up the PS4, boots immediately. God tier console, best console ever. Love everything about it. Fuck you, Sony, with the paying for the PlayStation Plus garbage. Everything's fine. Hook up the Wii! The Wii U! Wii U boots immediately. Like a graceful little ninja. A Nippon steel into the heart of its enemy. Glorious Japan. Awesome. Fantastic console. Worked immediately. Can't be the cables. Can't be the TV. TV's god tier. Must be the Xbox. Fuck you, Xbox. So I'm like, well, let's hook up the HTP VR and let's do stuff with PlayStation. I can't use my Xbox. Let's do some PlayStation stuff. Maybe I could stream some Bloodborne or something. You know, fight those broken bosses that they found on the game files. And then my PVR won't give me picture either. So you're like, okay, let's make sure we've got everything right here. So the PVR has to be hooked into HDMI 2 for it to work. At the back of my machine, I have about 8 HDMI ports. I've got normal looking ones, I've got ones with blue, I've got ones with black, and I don't know what any of that fucking means. So I Google all of this, and apparently the blue ones is SS, which I don't know if that's a Nazi thing or if it's a super speed thing or Super Saiyan. I have no idea, but apparently they're fast ones and could potentially be USB 3. And the black ones are USB 2. Suffice it to say, I've tried this piece of dog shit in every one of those fucking holes, like some virgin newbie, and I still can't get the piece of shit to work. So I put it into the black ones, because that's USB 2. It's hooked in, it's powered on, HDMI is in the right port, because I've been doing this for 7 years. It's going into the TV with the correct port, it's coming from the console with the correct port, everything is correct. I'm not having a stroke, I don't have brain damage, this is not one of those days, or maybe it is. Everything is done correctly, and no fucking picture. So I'm thinking to myself, what did I do when I installed this machine last time? Oh, that's right, Chris, you used the fucking disc. You've got no disc tray now because you ripped it out, but it wasn't working before that, so you can feel slightly better about that because it's a terrible situation to be in. I can't use that. They must have an alternative to the disc, just like the operating system did. We booted from a USB. Can we do the same again? Go to Hopage's website, and there, lo and behold, there is a download for an update for the drivers, for the capture software, and for the CD-related install. Download it, get all of that stuff. Notice that it's the same software that I got that enabled me to stream with audio on OBS, because it had updated drivers. It didn't, however, give me the capture software that I used on my old computer. The old software was called ArcSoft Showbiz. And I apologise if this story is really detail-rich, but what can I do? I'm a fucking storyteller, I'm a dreamweaver. This is important stuff. You might not know what that is, but if you do, you feel better for knowing that that's what we're talking about, right? I'm painting pictures, leave me alone. But it didn't give me that software, so I'm thinking, you know, maybe that software helped. Maybe that software is where I could see shit. All of this is just a weird fucking fantasy in my brain for this thing actually functioning so I can do my goddamn job that pays my bills. But alas, nothing's working, it's not doing shit. And then I'm looking at the lights on the front of this thing. Normally, the light is a full beam. I have half a light. Is half a light bad? Is that like hooking to the left with your penis? I don't know. So I started Googling the lights, and there's all these different diagnoses for the lights, but apparently it's saying that it means that it's been found by your PC. So it's definitely been hooked up with the PC, so it has to be that, right? And then Q, the last 2.5 days of me trying every conceivable combination of USB cables in every conceivable hole in every machine I own, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Wii U, all in conjunction to try and make this motherfucker work. And the closest I've come is the screen flickering 720p 60 to out of range or no signal, flickering, and nothing. I've looked at every single possible solution for this on the Hopage's in troubleshooting page and all their recommendations for how you fix this, licking the end of the fucking cable and stuff. That was useful. I've watched every YouTube video of every neckbeard fat dude in America show me that you take the cable out from this hole and you put it in this hole because apparently they didn't read the fucking holes they were putting the cable in. Doesn't work, I'll have you know. I've watched everything and none of it is working, none of it is happening. Which leads me to believe that it's the PVR that's the problem. I don't know why the Xbox was being weird. And that doesn't even mention my PC monitor being weird. Get this, right? All these problems all on top of each other. Fantastic time, loving it. When I was testing this, one of the things that I kept coming back to is a HDMI going into my Asus monitor. I've been playing video games recently using my monitor. It enables me to play them in 1080p, which makes them look nicer, and it also enables me when I use my controller converter to use mouse and keyboard comfortably instead of being like a weird fucking dark side Phil staring off to the side like a knobhead. So I've been playing almost exclusively on my monitor rather than on my television. So previously, before all of this just plague of locusts swooped down and ate everything in sight that is my fucking life, this had been working perfectly. I connect the HDMI into my one port on this thing, double tap a button, it changes from DVI to HDMI. I've got a picture. It's nice and easy. It's not technical, it's not difficult, it's easy, just like, it should be. That wasn't working. The other day when I was having problems with the PlayStation... Sorry. There it goes again. Thank you, screen. Fuck you, Microsoft. Hope you die. When I was having problems with getting a picture on my Xbox, I couldn't even get a picture on the monitor, which is why I was wondering if the Xbox was going or the cables were going, because I couldn't get one on the TV, couldn't get one on the monitor. And I couldn't even get PS4 on the monitor. I couldn't get anything on anything. It was really strange. Nothing was working, and when you're so just low and so defeated and so beat up and so just... You're at that point where you can't take any more, you don't want any more, but all you're getting is more, and you don't want to do anything because it's almost like you're the fucking problem, you're the jinx, and you've psyched yourself out completely. That's where I was at this point. So I got the Xbox, I took the HDMI and the power cable, took it downstairs, went into our conservatory because we're rich, and then hooked it up to like this TV that's in there. And the Xbox booted instantly, booted straight away. I tried a few of the other cables, they did the same thing. Can't be the Xbox then, can't be the cables. The Xbox must have just been temperamental, and I can understand that because it's a piece of shit. So I bring it back up, and I hook it up to my monitor, and there's no fucking picture again. My monitor is brand new, amazing, and as of before this nightmare, worked flawlessly. The only thing that I can think of is maybe some drivers or something have changed with this new operating system that my monitor's not doing what it should do. So I start Googling HDMI drivers, video drivers, all this kind of stuff for the monitor. I go into Device Manager. I've updated a million of those things in there. I had a wonderful little saga involving Universal Serial Bus, Win TV app, and all this other shit that I couldn't find drivers for because it just wouldn't find them. That's not even mentioning the whole Windows Defender and Windows updates being temperamental up and down garbage. I'm not even going to get into that. This is long enough as it is. So I'm installing all this stuff. I've made sure that my video drivers are correct for my graphics card from NVIDIA themselves and everything, and I've made so all the devices and all those are seemingly updated and seemingly on point and seemingly on the way, and I've googled to ascertain the knowledge that there's no such thing as a HDMI driver. It should just fucking work. So at this point, either the Xbox is dead, the TV is fine, we can acknowledge, the cables seem good, but my monitor might be going. And it makes no sense because the DVI side of the monitor's fine, right? Could it be a dodgy port? Then why wasn't it a dodgy port a week ago when I was using it like 12 hours a fucking day playing War and Battlefront 2? Like, I can understand a flaw and a fault if it's consistent. But the problem, of course, as we know with most things in life, is they rarely are. It's the thing you don't expect, you know? It's the anti-Occam's razor. So I'm just kind of dumbfounded and fucked up and like, what is happening? I'm an hour into a video talking about a week of terrible events, and if you're still here, you're a legend. Thanks for being here. It's just, what do you do? I'm thinking of fucking chewing paracetamols like cookies. And then I get a picture in the most bootleg setup you've ever seen. I have my Xbox on my bed because the HDMI cable I want to test is about as big as my dick and it won't reach. So I've got it hooked up, hanging precariously off this bed, going across to my monitor. My monitor's turned away. You can't even see the fucking picture. So I can put it in the port because they make the most difficult ports to put USBs in for some reason. They want some kind of fucking surgeon to come to your house and charge you $50. Bullshit. Why do they do that? Remember, like, I'm not even getting into it. Not even getting into it. 55 minutes. Fuck that. Garbage is what that is. So I plug it in, and it boots, and we've got a picture, and it's the tiniest resolution I've ever seen. I think it was designed for borrowers or something. I couldn't understand it. But it's like, boom. Cable definitely works. Lucky cable. Monitor must work because we've got a picture. I just dropped my toothpick. I'm being cool like Cobra. So we've got some kind of confirmation now that the PVR is suspect, the console's temperamental, the monitor is questionable, but it's looking like the PVR's the knobhead here, the villain in the story, even though it was the PC and the hard drive and everything else before that. So I unhook it, and I try connecting it to my TV, and we don't get a picture! And it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Picture, no picture, picture, no picture. And at this point, I'm just kind of so done. And I'm thinking, maybe if I just leave it, and I come back to it later, it'll all magically work, it'll all magically work itself out, and there'll be a resolution, and we'll not know what it was, we'll just keep moving forward, and just be blindly ignorant to whatever that weird thing was, that serendipitous moment of sheer failure, and we'll be okay. Don't question how it works, just understand that it does and be grateful, you know? I don't know what's inside a laptop, but I know it works, and I don't want to know what's inside the laptop because it'll probably stop working, right? It's the reason why people stay with old software and old products and old hardware, because they work. Why change it, right? It's that wonderful superstition. You trust what you know. And at this point, I'm that noise personified. So I give it a few hours, and I come back the next day, boot it on, start messing with cables and going through the whole song and dance of testing everything. And I can't get anything to go through the PVR. Nothing at all. We know the TV works, we know the cables work, we know the consoles work. The Xbox has been weird. I can't get shit with it. Hooking up without, we get everything fine. So the PVR is the only place this could be. I hook up to the monitor just to double check, because of course it's been sporadic at this point, and I get a picture. And it's at that moment, it was about 4 p.m. I'd just eaten. This is important because you want to know how relaxed I was at this point. It was before the bullshit, it was before the misery. I'd had a nice sleep, I was rejuvenated, I was ready to take on the day. And I just said, fuck it. I've got a picture now. I can't figure out the capture device other than it's probably faulty and maybe it's gone. Even though I still have my original HD PVR from all the way back in 2010 and it works. Never had any problems with that. Maybe it's just unlucky technology. You know, my Elgatos, I've had 2 of those things and they've all kind of malfunctioned on me. Maybe it's just a manifestation of that. But at this point, I'm too far to care because I'm frustrated, I'm irked, I'm irritated. Everything you can think is I'm vexed and confused and everything's failing. My life sucks. Everyone's against me. There is no God and this is proof. But I've got a picture. So I'm now going to play Battlefront 2, sorry. I don't know why I keep saying Battlefield. Battlefront 2 until I fall asleep. And that's what I did. I played Battlefront 2 all day and all night, and then I went to bed. And it was a beautiful piece of solace that I tweeted about because I needed a victory. I'd been shit on so much. I was just a mound of infection. And what do you do, you know? What do you do? And that was yesterday. And today, the problems are still there. So PC is on its way to recovery. We just need more software, we need more drivers. That's hopefully naturally going to work itself out, other than this weird screensaver thing, which I'm going to fix after this video. So PC's on its way. I should be able to stream on PC PC games or just, you know, like IRL stuff relatively soon, which I'm going to do. TV is still kicking. Cables, seemingly okay. Every console, seemingly okay. Xbox was being a douche, and I figured out how to do a fresh boot and all that when you hold the disc button and the front button and hold the weird side button and all that shit. Tried all that stuff to make it do a resolution reset. Didn't help at the time, but it's good to know, of course. But my capture capabilities are compromised, and I've tried them again today, and I'm just not getting anything. So the only thing I can think is to replace it. And I found that at game.co.uk, they have the PVR for 90 quid. And I tried to buy it earlier on, and get this. This will be the end of our little story here of updating you on the misery that is my life right now. So I log into my account, and I go to pay through PayPal. It says my card details are not up to date. Update them or choose another payment option. I choose PayPal instead. Everything else is fine. I click on its terms and its fucking services and everything, and the payment fails. Yeah. Doesn't give me a reason for it, other than that my card details are out of date. Don't really want to give it my new card. It just says pick other payment option, but it fails. I have more than enough in my PayPal account to pay for this, but payment fails. And I think that just kind of... That's my life right now, guys. Every single time there is something that looks like it could start to work, it doesn't. And there's no good reason for it, other than... Fuck me, right? But if you've wondered where I was, / wondering where I am, now you know. It's not a graceful story, it's not a fun story. I hope, you know, you enjoyed the recounting of it. But it's where I am. I'm really angry and really upset. But it doesn't help. So I'm trying to keep as reserved as I can, just kind of pull it all back and move forward and rebuild. It's not a hurricane or a fucking tsunami, you know, it's nobody is hurt. It's no health related stuff other than grey hairs and abject rage. Like it's... And I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me, guys, or anything like that. I'm not here, you know, looking for sympathy or anything. It happens. Happens to everybody. It's just, you know, it always feels worse when you're in it. Afterwards, we'll look back at this and it'll be note, and I'll forget it in a month. But right now, especially those 7 or 8 days that just passed, however long that was, it was awful. It really was. Just bad, bad times. But hopefully, once I get all this sorted out, I buy this PVR, I hook it up, because here's what I'm going to do to give you an idea of what I'll be doing for the next few days. I'm going to get a PVR 2 again, because I do like Hopage, and I do like their hardware. I'm going to take the box, and I'm going to just remove the cables from the old one and plug the new one in. So all the cables and everything are there, and I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to see what it does. Depending on what it does will hopefully tell me what's wrong. If it's the cables and shit, we should have the same problem, right? If it's the machine, it should work. And then what I can do is I can save those new cables for when these ones break, right? And then we just swap those out. There's a part of me that, you know, wants to get creative with some nefarious deeds, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'll let you... I'll leave that up to your imagination for what that such said nefarious nature could be. But hopefully, I should be able to get some videos to you now that I can render and actually make them again, and the PC's back on its way to recovery. And hopefully I'll be mellowing out and only be angry at video games rather than my entire life. But I'd like to thank everybody who, you know, has been watching the channel in the absence. I've got like 6,000 videos, so if you say there's nothing to watch, you're mistaken. You need to go back and watch some of the classics. It's pretty good stuff, dude. I should know I made it. And I'd like to thank everybody who, you know, enjoys the stuff I do on Twitch and understands that the absence is not willing from me. I would love to stream right now. I wish I didn't have to make this video. And instead of putting a face cam on and begging for money like our favourite YouTuber does, I'm just going to tell you that this week has fucking sucked. But I love all of you. And I hope yours has been better. Thank you for watching. You take care now.